was biologically their own. But when the baby girl was actually born, they noticed that her skin color was different from either of theirs. Now, court papers saying the clinic used another man's sperm during the artificial insemination. Well, what's the fallout of this going to be? Joining us now, Dr. Jeffrey Gardere. He's a child clinical psychologist, and Michael Wilds. He's a former federal prosecutor and mayor of Englewood, New Jersey. They both join us now to break this case down for us.
Morning.
I mean, this is just stunning. Dr. Gardere, let me start with you. You know, the parents didn't complain initially because they didn't complain legally because the clinic, the doctor told them, oh, that's normal. The child's darker than you. Don't worry, over time she's going to lighten up. That's what they say. Finally, she didn't lighten up. They took several tests and realized this was not their child. Now they're suing. Let me ask you what you think the psychological effect on this child of this lawsuit's going to be, of the fact that these parents are obviously complaining that she's not actually both of theirs biologically.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be a major issue for this child, especially if the parents consciously or unconsciously start acting out the behaviors as they are expressed in the legal brief, which is basically that this is a terrible mistake. Each and every time we appear in public, we're reminded of this mistake. We've been forced to raise a child, not even the same race, nationality. So if the parents act this out, again, consciously or unconsciously, this will affect the child by destroying her self-esteem, her racial identity, and certainly she will have issues, emotional issues for years to come with her parents and with who she perceives herself to be as a person.
Yeah, I mean, just reading part of the complaint, they say they're complaining that they've been forced to raise a child who is, quote, not even the same race, nationality, or color as they are. I mean, they're right, that's true, but do you think it would have been better for this child if they had dropped it as a legal matter altogether?
Well, I'm not an attorney, so I really couldn't comment on that, but I will tell you that these parents, as they go through this legal process, must be very mindful of showing this child love and not to use that term mistake in her presence. At some point, they will have to explain what happened, that there was perhaps some sort of an error.
Right.
However, they cannot say that she was a mistake. That would be devastating.
Michael, what do you make of it? I mean, you're a lawyer. If you were drafting this complaint, would you have played it down a notch?
You know, the truth is that every child is a blessing, and ostensibly this should be a colorblind environment. This is more to do about a negligence. I believe they have a very good medical malpractice case. It has to do with the propriety of these medical centers and the kind of controls that they have in place. Certainly there is collateral damage. There's going to be psychological damage. There's uncertainty when it comes to knowing who their actual father is and whether or not at some point he will lay claim to the child, and for this child to know her DNA, her medical history, and permanent condition. Clearly this brings on a great challenge and question as to the medical propriety, the reasonable medical standards that would be put into place as well.
Michael, I only have just a bit left, but I want to ask you, if in fact the child, the sperm that was used, had any sort of medical history and it results in some sort of medical issue for the child, pure speculation, but if that happens, the parents have a lawsuit against the clinic for those damages as well, no?
I think that the child may need an independent lawyer, and as it matures and consequences come that were not foreseen, we need to protect that child. Clearly, what if can happen time memoriam in this medical technological area. You know, what if this person eventually marries somebody that they're related to because of the anonymity in this whole process?
Oh my goodness, I hadn't even thought of that. Jeez. Well, the fallout continues. Dr. Jeff Gardere and Michael Wilds, thank you both so much for being here with us.
It's an interesting issue, huh? Good discussion.
Disturbing.
There is an ongoing story with this confrontation.